A dream you don't take action towards is the same as a dream you don't have. And so it is a shame to look around and see so many people with so much talent, so many skills, yet they're not taking action towards any goal that they have because they're simply afraid. They're too afraid of what other people might think and afraid of failing, and that is truly stopping them. It is the one blockade that stops them from taking action towards the life that they're meant to live. And so, let me tell you about John the Farmer. And first let me ask you, do you remember John the Farmer from 16th century? You probably don't. And so, John the Farmer was a person who wanted to invent wings for horses, so that horses could fly and you could ride them and fly in the sky like birds. Now, of course, John the Farmer failed. He was ridiculed for it, laughed at. But you don't remember him. No one does. No one talks about him. His reputation doesn't matter anymore. His name is not mentioned anywhere. And what we can learn is that despite John the Farmer trying, doing, and even failing, despite him getting all the bad things that we're so afraid of, ridicule, laughed at, failure, oh no, yet no one truly cares. And the same is with you. No one will remember your failures. Nobody. After a few centuries, no one will even mention your name. Not any of the actions you did. Your reputation around town won't matter because it won't exist. The only thing that can be remembered is if you succeeded so big that you became so big and great and worthy of remembering, worthy of being in the history books, that then people remember your name. But no one ever remembers failures. Not the failures of Isaac Newton, not the failures of Alexander the Great. No one. And so here are 3 tools that I will give you to get rid of that fear, that initial fear stopping you from taking action. And then, once you have eliminated the fear from your life, you can take action and build the life of your dreams. And so let's first now understand what fear even is. And I think the best way to describe fear is with a pink unicorn. And now you might be a bit confused. How can a pink unicorn describe fear? There is nothing scary about a pink unicorn. But if you imagine in your head a pink unicorn, it exists only within your head. It is nowhere in the outside world where you can touch it or see it. The only way other people can even know that you're thinking about a pink unicorn is if you mention it to them. Otherwise they don't know. And the moment you are no longer conscious of the pink unicorn within your head, it disappears forever. And the same is with fear. It exists only within your head. It is not real. You cannot touch it. It is nowhere in the outside world. It does not strike down thunder and lightning. And the moment you are no longer conscious of it, it disappears. And so when you're in that situation where you feel fear, you want to do something, start a business, post content on social media, talk to a new person, make a sales pitch, whatever it might be. When you're in that situation, ask yourself, is a pink unicorn going to stop you? If not, then don't let fear, because they're the same. And the great thing is that the faster you get it over with, the more you do stuff that is new and scary, the more you get comfortable with new and scary. So if you ask yourself, for example, what is the scariest skydive? Well, the scariest skydive is the first one. The scariest sales pitch is the first one. And so as long as you get the first one out of the way as fast as possible, everything else will be downhill. Isn't that amazing? And I've made a sales pitch that was horrible and I got nothing out of it. I've gone through the nightmare scenario where you make a pitch, it's a bit embarrassing, and it fails. Nothing good comes out of it. People, a bit scoffing there. Ho ho. But who cares? Even if I saw the people that were there seeing my pitch, I probably wouldn't even remember their faces if they walked down the street. And they probably wouldn't remember my face or my name or anything. Everyone's forgotten about it. And nothing truly bad even happened. And that is the next thing. Play it out in your head. When you're in a situation where you feel fear, play out in your head. Like, okay, let's say you go make the pitch and it sucks and nobody gives you funding or nobody buys your product. Then what? The FBI ain't gonna knock on your door and bust it down and take you to Guantanamo Bay. No one's gonna do that. Nothing truly bad is gonna happen. They're gonna play out in your head. I'm gonna make the pitch. Okay, this time it sucked. Boom. I'm gonna walk out. Boom. I'm gonna make it better. Boom. Then I'm gonna go talk to other people and make the pitch again. And then I'm gonna succeed. And the moment you play out in your head, it's like, well, actually, it's not even that bad. You see someone new that you want to talk to, a beautiful woman, gets your heart racing. And you know what? You think to yourself, you play out in your head. I go, I talk to her, I say hello. Once again, is FBI gonna come? Boom, 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 knock on your door, take you to Guantanamo Bay? No. Like you say hello to her, you read a bit of her body language, you see, okay, if she's not interested, then you just walk away. Nothing bad really happened. If she, says hello back, the conversation flows, then maybe something good happens. Like once again, you play out in your head, and all of a sudden it's like, well, nothing truly bad can even happen. And so the moment you play out the nightmare scenario in your head, it's not even scary. Because the nightmare scenario doesn't really even exist. Like you start posting on social media, somebody writes down a mean comment. Oh, you blah, 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 blah. And then what? Nothing in your life changed. You make the business, it doesn't go well, it fails, you continue your life. The moment you play it out in your head is the moment you realize nothing truly that bad can even happen. And the great thing is that as long as you pick battles, and this is very important, you pick battles where it's worth winning at, but it's simultaneously worth losing at. All of a sudden, how can you fear? How can you have any fear when you win when you lose and you win when you win? And this is the great thing. So for example, if you're playing a video game and you win, what do you gain? Nothing. If you play a video game and you lose, what do you gain? Nothing. So it's a bad battle to pick because you cannot win anything. But for example, making a sales call. If you make the sales call and you get the sale, you win. Well, now you win. Boom, you made money. Boom, amazing. So it's worth winning at. But it's also worth losing at. Because you know what, you make the sales call and you know what, maybe they don't really like the product. Maybe you see something wrong. Boom, 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 boom. They hang up. Who cares? You learned something. Oh, next time I'm not gonna say that. That's a bad opener. That's a bad hook. That's a bad this. You know what? Actually, I shouldn't even talk about, competitors or whatever. And you learn something. You gain experience. It is a lesson. It is worth losing at. And so when you pick battles where it's both worth winning at and both worth losing at, how can you fear anything? Because all that leads to is that all action you take leads to you gaining something, whether it be money or success or fame or whatever you're looking for. Or it leads to amazing stories to tell, amazing lessons about life and about whatever you're doing, and experience that makes you better. And talking about experience, that is truly the third thing. To get rid of fear, just get experience. Just put yourself out there and get experience. You know, so many people, they look at a guy on the street making a sales pitch and they're thinking to themselves, how do they have the balls to do that? I could never talk in front of people and go up to a random stranger and try to sell something. You know, I could never do public speaking. I could never be in front of the camera and record a video and then put it online for everyone to see. You know, and it's like, well, once you just get experience, feels like nothing. You know, it's like the same as if you're locked in a room with whatever you are the most scared of. Will it be spiders or clowns or snakes or bats like Batman? If you're locked in a room with whatever that thing is, after 15 minutes or maximum 1 hour, you're no longer gonna feel fear. I mean, your body simply cannot be in that fight or flight mode for that long. It's just gonna be like, what the fuck, nothing's happening. Nothing truly bad, like the spider is there. And I'm fine. So the moment you get exposure to whatever you're afraid of, whether it's talking to new people, being in front of the camera, making those sales calls, whatever, all of a sudden the fear disappears. Because you're getting exposure and then you're constantly, every second, noticing that you're not dying, you're not gonna die, and nothing truly bad's gonna happen. And then once you have the experience of, you know what, I've talked to 100 new people. All of a sudden, talking to the 101st new person feels like nothing. Once you've made, you know, a few hundred videos, making a few hundred more feels like nothing. You know, once you've made a lot of sales calls, making one more feels like nothing, right? The moment you're like, oh, you just fucking do it, the fear disappears. And here's the great part. The more you fear doing something, the more proud of yourself you can be for doing it. And so, even though you might still have some fear in you, there is no mental model to get rid of all fear instantly forever. But the moment you realize that me being afraid of taking that action that will lead to the life that I want, whether it's talking to new people, whether it's starting that business, whether it's, you know, content creation, whatever. The moment you realize that, the fact that you are afraid just makes it that you can be so much more proud of yourself once you do it. You know, just think to yourself, all action that you were afraid of was that much more worthy, that much more something you can be proud of than action where you didn't feel any fear. And so say with me, fuck fear. Live your life like it's the only one you got. Because it is. So go out there, be brave, stay disciplined, chase your dreams, and have a fantastic day.